All right, I want to give up praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bahara Kakwadash, for allowing us to get the breath of life, breathing us the spirit of life again, for us to be a living soul again. I want to give a double honor to Apostle Jim Master thru as well. Peace, blessings, salutations to Yakim out there, pushing forth the truth and sincerity. And again, I want to say Baruch to Yahweh, Baruch to Yahushua, Baruch to Yahweh, Baruch to Yahushua, for allowing us to have this light amongst the world of darkness. As you can clearly see, this is Trippy Red and I think Coil Ray. And these are the leaders. As you can see, this was 2 years ago, 5.4 million views. And this is what Esau does, you know, growing up in this society, Babylon, where our people first came over here as slaves and were conquered, the northern kingdom tribes. So due to us being conquered, you know, losing our identity, being destroyed, living in fear, you know, constant, you know, our parents, our mothers, our fathers that we had, you know, our neighborhoods, and our people, our nation around us, being around us, teaching us pretty much nothing, and nothing but foolishness and works of death. As the scripture says, amongst his world is nothing but you know, pride of life, lust, and living through the flesh, no order, no discipline. And see, when you, I'm gonna grab this scripture real quick. Bear with me one moment. So what is it? Discontinue from thy heritage. So this is Jeremiah 17:4. Even going into Deuteronomy 28, it tells you that we're going to serve our enemies. And we should, you know, pretty much to, you know, one of all things. And here it is. So Jeremiah 17:4 says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. So this is what has happened to our people, and due to us losing our identity, we cleave into wickedness, and we cleave to, you know, the black culture, the Latino, so-called Hispanic culture that Esau puts in the front of our face. And then there's so much turmoil and chaos amongst our people, and even you know, when our people, when pretty much they get rung around, drugged through the dirt, through the mud, amongst Jake, then they want to change change their life around, but they even go into something even worse because, you know, they start envying the so-called white man and his ways, and then they start changing themselves to be around them and be likened by them. You know, pretty much all they become is being an entertainer for the so-called white man. And due to us losing our identity, this is what become of our people. Nothing but fools and folly. You know, you read the book Ecclesiastes, the 1 and 2. It pretty much shows you, you know, King Solomon tells you that, you know, pretty much everything of this life is vanity. But our people, going back to Wisdom Solomon, the 2nd chapter, they uphold vanity.
Welcome to Double XL's One Thing Challenge. I'm Kai. I'm here with my homie Trippy Red.
Salaki.
Tackling McDonald's.
Today we gonna be doing the mukbang. Okay, we got cheesy bacon fries, we got McDonald's, we gonna eat all this shit as much as possible while he asking this question. This is mukbang with Coil Ray, Trippy Red.
So all of the food is named on top of it. Alright, so
And see, majority of our people, they flock to these these niggas, and this is what Esau pushes amongst the web, amongst the TV, so pretty much you start to act like this nigga, you start to act like this chick, dude. Again, us not knowing who we are has a lot to do with how way we think, how the way we move. I was watching Neely Fuller, Dr. Amos. He made a good point. When you don't have an identity, you're seeking to find yourself, so you don't know your standard, you don't know your code, you don't know your morals, you don't know what to do for yourself, you don't know how to do it. So what, and here it is. If you're amongst Jake, half of the time in the inner cities, it's a lot of affliction, it's a lot of pain and suffering, agony. And if we don't have no understanding and meaning of why we're going through this, it just, like I said, the curses is just going to protect you until until you lose you lose yourself. It should drive you mad. You should lose your mind. And then when you're tired, and after you lose your mind and have no understanding, and you're broken, then you start looking towards the so-called white man. You want to move to the suburbs, be all underneath the so-called white man's ass and kiss his ass, thinking, well, if I live like them, maybe life would be a little bit better. But that's not the case. See, this is what the so-called white man does. He wants your mind completely, so he puts on a pedestal dumb niggas to your ruin. Some people, they ruin completely, and then some they get over, they win over, because they want to basically, they feel so bad about being a so-called black male, Hispanic, or Latino. What happens? They want to basically, they envy their oppressors, and they envy their ways. And Esau come up to you as if it's so much loving, and they care for you, but really they want to destroy you even more. It's I had I lived around Esau, and man, it's hell. But play this a little bit more than I'm gonna bring for the scripture. It's not gonna make this video long.
About to hop into this tomato mozz chicken, and I believe this is from Canada. So basically how this new menu works is McDonald's decided to allow the U.S. to...
These are your leaders, These are Jake's leaders. As children that don't have no father, they will look up to a nigga like this. And as these chicks, it's clearly evident that they're confused. They will look up to a chick like this. She's light-skinned, she got, little curly hair, and a lot of our people will wish that they look like her, and they think that's the darling that's appearing. They eating McDonald's. They look like they're living life. They look like they got shit going on. But again, they don't show what Esau really does to these niggas.
Some of their international dishes. So one we have is, like I said, the tomato mozz. It's a chicken sandwich. We also have the cheesy bacon fries. Those are from Australia. So when you see us eat the red, that's what we're eating. My boy, I think that's the chicken sandwich.
So hard.
It's that good, people. We also have...
and that's Jay for you, man, through. But this is Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. Let me see. Well, it's a Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. And that's a lot of times that what Jake end up doing. And the Lord allowing that this truth can be this truth to be out there in the highways and the byways and these lessons. Jake still, they don't take heed. You go on social media and you just hear Jake, you just start listening to Jake how the way they talk, you pretty much hear them saying that they're trying to find themselves, they're trying to discover themselves. So they flock to these little soothsayings, smooth words, these little famous quotes, little memes and shit. So they cleave into it. Just sounding stupid as hell. Then they'll put up a picture. Then Jake will start taking pictures and selfies and shit like they're so empowered, and if they ready to face the world. But you just a small, destroyed nigga person, You're a person that's destroyed, you're lost. You don't know who you are. You don't know your identity, so you don't know what to fight for. You don't know what to stand for. You know. So it says Proverbs 1. Let me see. I'm start at verse 4. So Isaiah, Proverbs 1 and 4. To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand the proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And due to our people seeing these niggas, day to day, every day, you listen to rap music, rap culture, black culture, so-called Latino, Hispanic culture, because a lot of again, I always say here in Virginia, it's a lot of Hispanics, so-called Latinos, and they also are. Esau's also intermingling in destroying the so-called Hispanic Latino culture as well. Same as they did the so-called blacks. And what I mean by that, they're destroying the family the family structure. They're destroying the family structure amongst Northern Kingdom. So now you have a lot of these Northern Kingdom chicks talking about they're empowered, they single, they don't need no man as well. They're talking about that machismo shit. I can't, we don't need to be dependent on men. Men are toxic and shit. So here it is. They give up these silly ass jakes, these silly chicks, and they broadcast and promote them as if they're really living good by themselves. So going back. Matthew, let me see. Let me get to the point. Now, when you read up, it tells you, men and the people that built upon Yahweh Shah's foundation. But 2/3, they build it upon Esau's foundation. They take the ways and the foolishness and, the lifestyle that Esau promotes in front of us. That's why, when you, wake up, the Lord breathing us that life, us from being in that dry bone state. Now we understand is either of Yahweh Shah or is nothing at all. That's what the scripture talks about. If a man does not have the Lord, pretty much he is nothing. Roughly paraphrasing. If the Lord didn't give you this truth, you're nothing. You're nobody. And again, going back to Ecclesiastes, the 2nd chapter talks about how even King Solomon said, "Let me make a study on getting riches and getting mirth and living basically doing a lot of things, creating a lot of things with his hand." And even then, he said himself that it was all vanity. The best thing a man can do is eat and drink, and enjoy his work. And the thing about us, the Lord allows us to eat. He provides us things that we need to bring forth this truth. And then he also allows us to even enjoy what we do, meaning enjoy these videos, these lessons, and going out there in the house in the Bible. That's the real work, trying to teach our people by the Spirit, So it says, and And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be like unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it, you know. So, Jake, you Jakes, man, you're gonna have a great fall. You know, you think you're getting something in this life. You know, you it's like you got the elder from Baltimore, Elder Karatazaba. He did a video about that nigga Anton. I think Anton Guru. I'm not sure. This nigga always talking about getting rich. He has a couple of videos with Kevin Samuels. You know, they be running those podcasts talking about with those chicks. And it's pretty much, a bunch of bickery and bullshit, you know, that manifestation bullshit talking about business and so forth. Man, y'all niggas about to have a great fall. You know, this is the most important thing that you're going to ever have, and it clearly shows because Jake not having an identity. That's why you have in one neighborhood. You know, you'll have a multitude of 2,000, 3,000 people, but all them niggas are lost. You know, you ask them niggas their identity. You can go around the neighborhood and ask all 2,000 of people their identity, and they won't be able to tell you. And that's why the neighborhoods are in disarray. You know, everybody's a fucking monkey and a fool, and they're lost. And here it is. And don't any one of them have a common denominator or a foundation. So that's why it's easy to pick those niggas apart and destroy that neighborhood when it comes time. Because there's no togetherness, there's no oneness in those so-called black communities, and even also the so-called Latino Hispanic communities. You know, you have Jake, like you have El Salvadorians that come from one country, from their country over here, and be a neighborhood, but again, it'll eventually become bickering and hatred. Guatemalans and so forth, and so-called Mexicans. But here it is, you both were conquered by the same enemy and the same devil. You both speak Spanish, clearly not your language, you know. So it says, Ecclesiastes 22:14, and this is why it's a burden being around niggas. Bear with me one moment. Okay, 22:14. So the verse, to talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that have no understanding. And that's Jake. Beware of him lest I have trouble. Yeah, again, you got to be careful of Jake because they're lost. They don't know their identity. So, and we've been given this psyche that wickedness is black culture. You know, if you don't get locked up, you're not a man. If you don't bust that gun, you're not a man. If you ain't get shot, you're not a man. If you never sold drugs, you're not a man. You know, and another thing with women, me growing up, I always heard basically so-called black women shunning themselves because they don't get no rod or don't have a bunch of dudes that they can call. But that's what's taught. Whoredom, not being discreet, not being modest, not being chaste, and that's what's been promoted amongst the women. Be loud, be ghetto, fight, talk shit, have a bunch of dudes in your DM, have a bunch of dudes in your phone, using niggas. Niggas ain't shit, and that's the motto. But it said, and that's why again you can't be around niggas like that, man. You have no other kingdom chicks. They really use their beauty to their advantage, man, to destroy men and use men and so-called Latino men. They're into those drugs. They're into, that old gay, feminine, painting their nails shit, man. So it says, thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. Exactly, man. Because if you allow niggas in your crib, or niggas around you hang out with niggas, man, it's always you might fuck around and get locked up or shot at, or be put to death, man. And you gotta really watch women that you hang around too, cause the women have no regard of men. They disregard. So these women just think you're expendable. They can deal with you. Then once you're through, they pick another man off the tree. So these women are you out in the first she'll come out the house dressed as a slut. You should be around you. Then somebody might say something to her, knowing she's wrong for putting that shit on. Then she look up to you to do something. Do maybe like or something, say something. Then she come to you, say something. She wild out, cuss the dude out or slap him or whatever. And then here it is, you. She look up to you as if you supposed to do something. And if you don't do it, hey, she gonna leave you. So basically, my point is, these women will put men lives in jeopardy for their sake, and it just shows you that these women have no respect for men. Because if they really had respect for men, they wouldn't act the way they do or put men's life in harm. Just like Andrew Tate said, these women there was like a pizza spot, and two robbers or three robbers came in, or I don't know if they were robbers or what, but they came in and basically jumped the line of everybody. And the chick was like, nah. And he told her to shut the fuck up. And then here it is, this guy's a top fighter. But see, these women will get you killed out here, will get you murdered out here, And that's why you got to really watch who you're dealing with in these last days. And never be disquieted with madness. What is heavier than lead, and what is the name of her but a fool? There you go. Sand and salt and a mass iron is easier to bear than a man without understanding. That's right, man. That's pretty much it, man. Again, I'm gonna show this. Like, come on, man. You can't be around. Let's look at these niggas, man. You can't. What good can come out of this? You hanging around these niggas and these man. What good can come out of it, man? That's why it's just gonna take the fact that the Lord just has to destroy these niggas. There's no fixing them. With that, Mr. Shalom. McDonald eating niggas, man.